It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead, related to the Commonwealth storyline being adapted into the TV show. We're going to be looking at the possibility that the Commonwealth group, or their storyline, is being replaced by the CRM community, or group. So for non-comic readers, a little bit of background. Why are we even comparing these two communities? Well, first off, for those of you that don't know, CRM is the community that took Rick. They are also the community that they have teased in Season 5 of Fear the Walking Dead. So what makes them similar? The CRM and Commonwealth have key differences that I'm going to go through, but at the same time, they have some commonalities that make them closely connected. The very first similarity is the scale of their community, or communities for CRM, based on my own speculations, because I think the CRM has more than one community. But in the comic book, the Commonwealth were the very first large-scale community that we have ever been introduced to. They had close to 50,000 residents, unlike anything we have ever seen before in the world of The Walking Dead. They had a sort of modern society. Being at the Commonwealth was like living in the world before the apocalypse. There was shops around, people going about their daily lives, there was thriving businesses, they had their own stadium, and so on. In addition to this, the Commonwealth were very well organized. So much so that they had their own elected governor. Or we don't necessarily know if she was elected or not, but for what it's worth, everyone viewed her like an elected governor, like someone from the government. So in a sense, Governor Milton of Commonwealth was a bit different than your typical leader or person in charge, like Rick, the old governor, or Negan. So much like Commonwealth, the CRM seems to have a large-scale community as well. We don't necessarily know how large, but based on their resources that they have and their master plan to build the future, it's unlikely that they would do this for a couple hundred people, or if they only had a couple hundred people. So in the grand scheme of things, the CRM and the Commonwealth are both considered to have large-scale communities. They are similar, as CRM is our very first taste or tease at our modern type of society in the apocalyptic universe of the Walking Dead TV show, just like the Commonwealth in the comic book. The second major similarity that they share is that they are both organized. They both seem to have a system, although one seems much more sophisticated and capable than the other. This is again the very first time we have seen this type of organization for a community in the TV universe, same as Commonwealth in the comic book. Also, we don't know how much of a modern type of community CRM is. We know that the Commonwealth is like a modern city, but we haven't learned enough about CRM to say that. The third key similarity between these two is that both CRM and Commonwealth have soldiers. Unlike any other soldier we have ever seen in the previous communities we've seen, they have proper soldiers equipped with some very enhanced weaponry. Also, they have outfits that resemble one another. I strongly believe that the CRM soldier military gear that we saw in Fear the Walking Dead was inspired by the Commonwealth militia outfit. Regardless of if CRM is Commonwealth or a replacement, the suits that Commonwealth soldiers wore in the comics was very comic booky, and I just don't feel like it would work in the TV universe. So in a sense, the military gear that CRM wear is a much more realistic, grounded in reality, and believable version of the outfit that the Commonwealth militia had. And that's the very first key difference between them. The CRM soldiers actually wear what they wear for a purpose. It was already shown that they wear these suits because these suits have cables or wires going through them, which is meant to prevent the walkers from biting them. We already saw in Fear the Walking Dead, Althea was literally saved because she was wearing that, and the walker couldn't bite her. Unlike CRM, Commonwealth soldiers wear this sort of spacesuit that looks a bit ridiculous in an apocalyptic setting. The next key difference between CRM and Commonwealth is that Commonwealth seem to be more focused on themselves. They are more isolated and have more of a selfish kind of ideology, while the CRM is more about the future and rebuilding the civilization. As Isabel said, they are the past, and everything they do is for a reason, for them to build towards a better future. The final key difference between them is that Commonwealth is not quite as secretive as CRM is, or they don't have a reason to be. This goes back to the nature of CRM and their existence having a bigger purpose. So with all of the backstory out of the way, do I think they're going to replace Commonwealth with CRM? No. And here's why. I think, for one, they have already teased Commonwealth at the end of season 9 with the voice that came in through the radio. So it will be kind of odd and confusing to make that not be the Commonwealth, unless they're going to make that radio tease be about the CRM, which is unlikely. The other reason I don't think they're going to completely eliminate or scrap the Commonwealth storyline is that if they take out the story, then they are left with pretty much nothing. After the Whisperers conflict, all we have is the Commonwealth when it comes to storylines, because after that, it's over. So if they're going to completely remove the Commonwealth, they're going to have to introduce their own unique storyline for the TV show. Now, with that said, I don't believe they will completely bring the Commonwealth into the TV universe. They are going to do something in between. What I mean by that is that they're going to bring the Commonwealth, but heavily remix their purpose and what they do for the story. The very first thing that they will need to remix is that spacesuit that the soldiers wear. To make things more grounded in reality, they're going to need to do that. Then the second thing that they're going to need to change is they're going to need to reduce the size of the Commonwealth significantly. The main reason they need to do this is because it'll be repetitive, as the CRM already seems to be doing that. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be a very small community by any means. They will still be the largest community we've ever seen in the TV universe. However, instead of having 50,000 residents, they will have something more realistic and manageable, like 2,000 to 5,000. So then, what they can do is take some of the components or mini arcs from the Commonwealth storyline and push it to the movie universe and give it to the CRM. So they're still going to do both the Commonwealth and CRM, but there's going to be some overlaps. And they can do this because of the simple fact that some of the storylines or Commonwealth components from the comics will just not work in the TV show, as it was only intended in the comics for Rick's final send-off. In the TV show, they can't do that as Rick is not there and Carl is dead. But if they push that to the movie, they can utilize that so that Rick's story can still be more or less adapted into the TV universe or the movie universe, but with CRM instead of Commonwealth. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to completely be identical, but I think they're going to be closely linked to one another. Now, there are two things that could complicate things. The first is that Carl is dead. So how are they going to make that work? If they bring the Commonwealth to the TV show as they were in the comics, they will still need to remix the story because Rick and Carl are not there. If they don't do that and they remix it and give us the best of both worlds, much like what I explained, we will have some issues still, since Carl is not there in the movie universe to take his role when it comes to Rick's final send-off. And Henry can't really fill that void anymore either, because he's dead. The only way that they can make it work is to completely change Rick's final send-off in the movie or TV universe, but still bring in elements from the Commonwealth storyline. The second thing that could make things complicated is Georgie and her community. So we know that Maggie left in season 9 to help Georgie and her community. Her community also now seems to be large, although we don't know exactly how large or how much larger than Alexandria and Commonwealth and Hilltop. So what's the deal with Georgie's community? Are they a replacement of the Commonwealth or a part of it? How's that gonna work out with the connection that Maggie and Georgie have? So these two things, the no Carl situation and the Georgie stuff, is making me very interested, but at the same time worried when it comes to the Commonwealth storyline being adapted in the TV show. That's all I wanted to say. I've rambled enough. I want to know everyone's opinions about the CRM and Commonwealth. Do you think they will stay as separate entities, or do you think they will be combined, much like what I just went through? Or do you think that the CRM is actually replacing Commonwealth? And if you think Commonwealth is going to be adapted in the TV show, how can they do it given the complexities I went through with Carl and Georgie? That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.